Glamour magic is a form of magic that is all about the onlooker and how the onlooker perceives you. So it is about perception, and it's about taking people's perception of you, who you are, what you're capable of, what you know, etc., what you're doing with your life, that kind of thing, and turning it so that it works to your advantage. And the way that I see glamour magic is that it can be about enhancing something that is already in your repertoire of skills or is already true to who you are as a person. It can be about enhancement, it can be about amplification, or it can be something that is a lot more illusory, that is actually not that much directly connected to who you are, or may not even be at all connected to who you are or what you've got in your, arsenal of strengths or your list of characteristics. So you can definitely take it away from things that you already have in your existing character, and it can become sort of more illusory, something that really isn't that much connected to the truth of you, if you will. You could get really deep here straight away and say that if all archetypes are available to us within the primordial soup of the collective unconscious, to which we all have access, then nothing is really illusory in glamour magic. Whatever you put forward, whatever you use the spell to project to others and to convince others of, is a part of you on the basis that all of it's available to you and all of it could be a part of you. It's just that there are certain archetypes and certain characteristics that are more difficult for some people to get in touch with than others. And depending on how your personality is set up, there might be certain things that you want to use glamour magic for, to bring those personality traits forward, or to project that particular thing that maybe you don't project through your lived experiences or the way you are naturally. So you might use spellcraft to accentuate it, but essentially nothing is a lie in glamour magic. This is why I knew I couldn't just make this video about glamour magic and self-love, because I know I'm going to go into so many rabbit holes, it's going to be ridiculous. And I know I'm going to ramble on about it on Patreon afterwards as well. It's a big one for me. This is a big discussion. The thing that is the very most interesting for me about glamour magic is the fact that it is the form of magic that non-witches come close to practicing most of all, I think. I think that I can see the building blocks of glamour magic and what it means and how it operates in everyday life a lot. And I've written some notes to explain what I mean by that, okay? So, it's very prevalent in self-help and wellness culture in terms of things that you can do to make yourself feel like what you want to project into the world or who you want to become, so you could say that affirmations, the whole idea of using affirmations, saying I am this, I always this, I feel this way, I walk around in the world this way, you could say that that has a building block of glamour magic in it. You could also say that the whole discussion around glowing up and what it means to glow up, it has got a building block of glamour magic in it. It's basically changing your appearance and the way that you are. As soon as I started talking about glowing up, I got a vision of Sandy at the end of Grease. I actually really don't like that musical. I mean, I like the music in the musical, but I hate the message in the musical, the whole glow up thing. It's like where the weird one at the end of Breakfast Club comes out looking like some kind of cheerleader princess, and you're like, no, you did not need to glow up in that way. You were perfect as you were before. Why did you feel like you had to do that? It's such a misogynistic message, but essentially, yeah, glowing up, that has definitely got a seed of glamour magic in it, there's no doubt, because you are taking different reference points that other people will be encouraged to see you in a different way if you use those reference points. You are saying something to onlookers to make them think of you differently, treat you differently, to have a better kind of day in the world, to be able to walk around in the world and have people's perceptions mean that your life is easier, that you feel better about yourself, etc. So definitely that's got a seed of glamour magic in it as well, the whole glowing up conversation. There's so many dialogues and so many articles and so many videos about getting the job that you want, having a successful date, that include building blocks of glamour magic. Now, these things are not glamour magic because you're not actually performing a spell, but the seeds are there, the building blocks are there. And a lot of these things will explain to you quite a bit about what glamour magic actually is. It's about taking, like I said, those reference points that are going to alter people's perceptions. And then through altering people's perceptions, you are going to feel like you have an easier time in the world, or certain things happen for you that wouldn't have happened if the perception was different. I personally feel that glamour magic is a form of spellcraft that would be fairly easy for a lot of the witches that I know and that I hobnob with online, because there very much is just a big psychology element to it. And if you're already aware and conscious of the fact that the way that you stand, the way that you walk, the stuff that you say, the things that you wear make people feel a certain way or have certain ideas or even tap into certain biases, then you're going to be somebody that could be pretty good at glamour magic. And I think, you know, that conversation is something that wouldn't be alien to a lot of the witches that I know. And I think a lot of witches are very aware of these certain things within human psychology and are very interested in that kind of thing. So to me, I don't think it's that many. There's not that many extra steps to be a very practiced glamour magic mage. As you're listening to me talking, you might be thinking, this sounds shadowy. Kellyanne, this sounds like the kind of thing that is really cheating, lying, and is very much hooked up with trying to manipulate. And there's definitely a big shadow to glamour magic as a concept and as a practice, for sure. I think that that's true of everything. I think you can look at the underbelly of most things and be like, oh, that's seedy, you know, we don't want to go there. And so glamour magic is no exception. Glamour magic does not escape from having a shadow. And actually, I think glamour magic, when I think about the whole range of things that I could do in spellcraft, different things I could achieve, different ways I could look at my role as a witch and what I do in spellcraft, I think glamour magic has perhaps more of an obvious shadow. The shadow is closer to the surface, and you really do have to think about what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve it, and how you personally feel that it's going to be ethical and reasonable for you to achieve it. And look, at the end of the day, when it comes to this, witches are different. Witches do not all have the same ethical framework, nor should they be expected to have that. So you really have to look into it for yourself and decide what it is that you think and feel about it. When you look at certain scams that happen, the way that certain people are convinced to part with money, you could say that some of the steps that are taken on the way to making somebody believe a scam are quite glamour magic-y, and you could learn certain things from that. You could pick up certain things from that and put them into your glamour magic repertoire. You could say that advertising and branding utilizes a lot of the same things, the building blocks, the seeds of glamour magic. And you could say that there's certainly things that you can learn from advertising and branding, both in terms of the way that you feel that it's done unscrupulously or manipulatively, and in terms of the way that you've bought into it and it's worked on you. You could look at all of that and say, wow, there's some things for me to learn here if I want to do really good glamour magic.